Welcome back, Cooperville Live on a Monday. We are here. We are now. We have made an adjustment to the show, obviously. Hey, yeah, see, I'm live. Look at that. Live. Made some adjustments to the show. C-Dub's in the house. It's happening. Welcome. It's probably better for you in Malaysia, right? A little better time. A couple hours later. Got them beats. Ariel. Hello and welcome to the program. Class in 5 minutes. This will be the best 5 minutes of the show. I make no promises that it gets better after the first 5 minutes. So, yeah, had to make some adjustments. Had to change the hours up a little bit, but we're going to be 5 until whenever. 5 until question mark. On all of your live streaming platforms. There's my Sharpie. Facebook Live. If you're on Facebook watching the show, we've got a bunch of people on there right now. Drop in the comments section, say hi. YouTube, got my YouTubers watching. Hello, YouTube world. And on the Twitch, at No Limit Cooper on the Twitch. That's where we are at. Every single weekday now starting at 5 p.m. Look at this. I have 2 Sharpies. Eardrum. Oh, cool stuff. Got them beats dropping. Ready Waves. We'll be talking about them coming up next month. It's my boys Blake Allison, Joey Walzer from Devour the Day in Egypt Central. Dropping them beats. We're the YouTuber. In the tubes, man. We're in the tubes. Do you want to announce this? We've launched our Patreon page, which we just dropped the link into the chat of all of the platforms. So the Cooperville Live Patreon page is now up and active. Many tiers, all access kind of stuff. We're going to be doing a bunch of cool things. I believe that starting hopefully this week. For those of you who are new to me and what I do, before this live streaming thing, I was doing podcasts. We've got about 80 podcasts over the last year plus. But starting very soon, all of those podcasts, the previously released episodes of the Welcome to Cooperville podcast, will all be going and exclusively be able to listen to them on our Patreon page. So that's something that we're working on. We're also going to be doing some exclusive stuff on there with videos, even some exclusive live streams that will only be available through our Patreon page. So again, that link is up on all of our platforms that we're streaming on right now, whether it's on Facebook, on the YouTube, and on the Twitch. That link is up there, so click on the link. If you can't click directly on it, copy it into your browser or on your phone. Just copy it, put it in, and join up. We got 3 different tiers, I believe, monthly subscriptions. I'll be doing a bunch of posts, daily posts on there, and pictures, behind-the-scenes stuff. So all that's cool. So feel free. We'll be posting that throughout the show in case you missed it. But again, the link to the new Cooperville Live Patreon page is up in the comment section of all of our platforms. So jump on there. Let's get some more beats on here. Feeling beats on a Monday. Worked all day. Well, worked most of the day. Put in a bunch of hours. Got up and did a run this morning. In the snow. That's always fun. Running in the snow. But it was balmy. I mean, we had like 25 degrees when we got up this morning. We're just like, what? How is that warm? It is 25 degrees. It's balmy this morning. Got up. A little meditation. Because I do that. Meditate on the daily. See you later, CW. Enjoy class. Learn stuff. Be smart. Smarter than I. Doesn't take much. 96. Thanks, Ariel. 96 subscribers on the YouTube. Thank you. That's impressive. I don't know where we were at before we started the live show. I think we were at like 20. And then we started the live stream. We're almost at 100. So thank you to all of you. If you're watching on a different platform, if you're watching on like Facebook and you have a YouTube, like go to YouTube, search Cooperville and subscribe there. If you're watching on Twitch, go to YouTube. Almost 400. See? Congratulations. That's awesome. 400 subscribers for Ariel over there on the YouTube. C-Dub's got 20. It's growing. Everybody's growing. That's awesome. Starting a revolution. Getting those stream numbers up. Getting those subscriber numbers up. And for those of you who are like, what are you people talking about? This is important in the world of streaming. And again, I'm fairly new at it. We were live streaming the podcast for about the last 6 months or so. So we did have some action on the YouTube and on Twitch. But man, for those of us who want to keep this a thing, make this part of your day, those subscribers and those who join the Patreon, that's what keeps it going. And that's what keeps it going. So congratulations, Ariel, 400. C-Dubs will get you up there. Don't you worry. We'll get you up there. You're young. Lots. You're over in Malaysia. You know, keep going. Keep doing the thing. Oh, so much to talk about today. As I mentioned, got up, meditated, went for a run this morning. About 3 miles in the snow, which is always interesting. Because you figure it snowed like most of yesterday afternoon into this morning. And I don't know, probably 3 or 4 inches. Nah, maybe 2 or 3. I'd say 2 or 3 inches of snow. But when the plows come through, because the trail that I run on, the sidewalk that I run on is really close to the road. So when the plows come through, it just throws more snow onto the sidewalk before they get a chance to get out and get after it with the sidewalk plow or the sidewalk brush. But it was great. Got out, ran, went to work, came home, got the show ready, and here we are. Made lots of water today. That dehydration. It's actually nice, though. We're up to, that was like 40 today. 40 here in the great state of Wisconsin. Another 40-degree day tomorrow before the bottom drops back out into the 20s. But we'll take it. We will take it. It's a good day, though. How was your day? Everybody having a good day? Everybody having a good Monday? Getting through? Surviving all the craziness in the world. We got lots to get to today. Lots of crazy stories in the news. No guests scheduled for today. I do believe we're going to have George Dukas is going to return tomorrow, though. We had George on a couple weeks ago, first week of the podcast, first full week of the live stream, I should say. And and he was like, oh, I thought it was like we just talked forever. But we had him scheduled for like a half hour. We had another guest ready to get on. And so I said, let's just get you back on, dude. We had all of his fans were in the chat, chatting it up, and it was great. So George Dukas is going to be back on, I believe, tomorrow. I know he had some writing stuff to do today, and then tomorrow we're going to get George Dukas back on the program. A bunch of people lined up for this week. I think we're working on Sean Wallen from Lions Not Sheep Apparel. Dude's just he's a bad motherfucker. That's what I'll say about him. Bad motherfucker. I don't have my Lions Not Sheep hat on today. I went Violent Gentlemen Hockey Club from out in Los Angeles, California. VGHC. Shout out to those guys. Sponsored the podcast and got a bunch of cool Violent Gentlemen stuff. I actually have a giant Violent Gentlemen banner that hangs off to the left here. Reap what you sow. Hard work. Violent Gentlemen Hockey Club. For all you hockey fans out there, they have a great line of hockey-related items. Gear for the guys, gear for the ladies, gear for people who are obsessed with hats like I am. All the time, all day. Joe is in the house. Joe? I still got paint on my hands from work today. See that? I didn't even have a chance to wash my hands after I got done. I just came right here, turned everything on, I was kind of pissed though. So over the weekend, my girlfriend and I mounted I moved in here and got the new studio set in June, and have had a TV ready to go and be mounted on the wall so I could, have whatever connected to another computer, either watch the stream on here, all that stuff. Set up, ready to go. Got the Amazon Fire Stick up in there. Was going to plop the Twitch up, and it's just way too much drain on the internet in the house here. Welcome back, C-Dubs. No teacher yet? Cool. But eventually we'll get that squared away. We'll get some better internet in the house. All right. Let's get into the news for today, because there's a lot to get to. I can't do that because it shakes the camera. If you are from the great state of Wisconsin, which my buddy Joe is, a lot of Wisconsinites that tune in. We are the dairy state. We are the cheese state. I was just talking with the guys in Otherwise on Friday. We had all the guys from Otherwise on the program. If you missed that episode, by the way, the video is posted on our YouTube page as well as the Twitch channel. So you can go and relive our conversation with Otherwise. We're talking about, because they're coming up to do a show up here in April. And they're like, what are kind of some of the delicacies? What are the must-haves when we're in Wisconsin? I'm like, well, cheese. Cheese gets a bad rap, though. It's bad for you. And this, again, I recant this for any those who have a lactose intolerance to cheese, or avoiding the cheese. But it is the ultimate guilty pleasure. But if you're from Wisconsin, it's just it's part of your nature. I know we're not meant to consume this much dairy, but I don't care. Got the cheese. This is from Wired. It says, great news, America. Cheese is not bad for you. It's gooey, it's fatty, it's delicious. This is according to this Wired story. Has to be bad for you, right? Wrong. A large body of research suggests that cheese's reputation as a fattening, heart-imperiling food is undeserved when it comes to weight and other key health outcomes. And again, setting aside the lactose intolerance thing, with apologies, cheese is neutral at worst and possibly even good for you. And yet the research doesn't seem to have broken through into common knowledge. If you Google cheese, the top result under people also ask under the is why cheese is bad for you. But according to apparently a large body of research, they're now saying that cheese is either neutral, which means it's neither good nor bad, or has health benefits. I would lean into there's protein in there, calcium, deliciousness. It just goes on everything, man. It's tough to say no to cheese, Cheese, would you rather have a hamburger? Would you rather have a cheeseburger? I want to have a cheeseburger. Put cheese on it. You get a salad, put some cheese on that shit. Doesn't even matter what kind. Cheese. The story took place in Ireland, so, that's saying something. Not the Irish are not the least healthy, but, it's enough Guinness. But they're saying it's not nearly as bad as maybe preconceived notions. So cheese is either neutral or good for you. Take that as a positive sign on your Monday. Maybe you're kind of crabby or kind of pissy. It's Monday. Maybe you had a fun weekend, did something entertaining, did some organizing. It's good. But take that as a sign that it's going to be okay. Cheese now approved for you. Right? Oh, man. What else is going on in the news? Chapo Guzman's wife. Remember El Chapo? Drug lord. His wife was just arrested on drug trafficking charges. This literally just happened. Emma Coronel, detained at Dulles Airport in Washington, D.C. Her husband, Chapo Guzman, currently serving life in prison in Colorado. He was the head of the big cartel. Remember, he was convicted back in February of 2019. She is a former beauty queen and the mother of their 2 daughters, a U.S. citizen born in San Diego before moving to Mexico. Just arrested. Breaking news. She's just arrested on drug trafficking charges. Well, clearly after he went, there was 2 paths for her to go upon. You could either go, all right, clean up the life, get on a straight and narrow, or continue on in the, what I'm assuming is still a quite lucrative family business. Got to put food on the table, yo. You got to put food on the table. That's why this show had to move, because you got to put food on the table. There's a lot of stupid shit going on. There's a lot of stories that came out over the weekend. Did you now know that the Muppet Show is now deemed to be offensive? The Muppets. This actually came out over the weekend. I remember seeing this the story pop up. But the Muppet Show, apparently it's being streamed on Disney Plus. Okay. So the Muppet Show on Disney Plus comes now with a disclaimer claiming that this program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures. The statement reads, "These stereotypes were wrong then and they are wrong now. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future." Disney is committed to creating stories with inspirational and aspirational themes to reflect the rich diversity of the human experience around the globe. Okay. It doesn't say specifically what the things are that are considered offensive and or mistreating. But the disclaimer does come up before you try to watch The Muppet Show. It says, warning, this content is offensive. When did The Muppet Show came out? Originally aired from 1976 to 1981. Now, I remember The Muppet Show. I think I remember it in reruns because I was born in 80, so I only got a year of the live stuff. But I clearly remember watching it back in the 80s. I'm sure they ran reruns on Disney and maybe it's part of like Saturday morning cartoons. They even have a picture of the Muppets singing along with John Denver. Is there anybody less offensive than John Denver? May he rest in peace. I don't know. Fan favorite. Yeah, I mean, Gonzo, Fozzie, Animal, Kermit, Miss Piggy. But apparently the show now is considered to be offensive. What do we think about this, Joe? People need to get some thicker skin. I'm shaking my damn head too, man. Shaking my damn head too. Like, is that... maybe the silver lining is the fact that they didn't actually pull the show off of Disney Plus. You know? It's still there. I believe it's only the when you're logged in as a kid does it have that disclaimer. I think adults can handle the Muppets. But is that's where we're headed now? All things from back in the day are now being crushed by the woke culture. The Muppets, I'm offended. you realize that they're not real, right? Like they're not real. They are Muppets. They are sock puppets. Well, a little higher end sock puppets, right? Like we get that, right? This isn't like a documentary of things that really happen. These are sock puppets singing along with John Denver on this one particular image. You know, they find the most wholesome image and they put, it's offensive. Here's John Denver and Fozzie singing "It's Not Easy Being Green." Yeah. You think Jim Henson is rolling around in his grave right now, like, for real? This is where we've come to this. The Muppets are now considered offensive. It's where we've fallen. It leads me to another story of similar stupidity, perhaps. The story from MSN that there are calls now on the social media to ban the movie Grease. Grease is being called to the fire for being misogynistic, sexist, and a bit rapey. Yes, the musical Grease, John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, classic. The song that if you've been to a wedding in the last 20 years, 30 years, maybe more, you've sang at least one of those songs from that movie. Better shape up. Yeah. Here's a story from MSN.com. Social media users are calling to ban the iconic 1970s hit film Grease, condemning it for being sexist, homophobic, and slut-shaming. Okay. Boxing Day viewing of the film on BBC One sparked outrage online, with many Twitter users calling the film outdated. Grease is on. It really has a terrible message, doesn't it? One user said. Sorry, but Grease sucks on so many levels. No plot, nothing interesting, and the message is pure misogyny, said another. The film, a lighthearted romantic musical centering around a high school love affair between Sandy, played by Olivia Newton-John, and Danny, played by John Travolta. Critics on Twitter complained about the lyric, "Did she put up a fight?" in the song Summer Nights, when Danny talks about hooking up with Sandy. Others shared disapproval about Sandy's friend Rizzo, who was slut-shamed for having unprotected sex. Gasp. The drive-in scene where Sandy and Danny watch a movie together was criticized for being rapey, one user saying it didn't age well. And the lack of LGBTQ and representation and diversity in the cast angered many others. In the film, a radio announcer at the school dance announces there were no same-sex couples on the dance floor. All couples must be boy-girl. Well, Grease, shove your homophobia. Again, this came out in the 70s. And it was based, I believe, on Rydell High? Is it Rydell High? I think that's right. However, many came to the defense of the musical, calling the woke critics oversensitive snowflakes. One user wrote, "Please, I know all the words, and I've still got a slight crush on Danny." A third wrote, "I really can't believe the snowflakes want to ban Grease. What the F?" Grease. At the end of the film, Sandy transforms from good girl to bad girl, impressing Danny with new fashion style and attitude and smoking a cigarette. Quote, "I wish my girl Sandy would have recognized Danny was trash and she didn't need to change for anyone." Olivia Newton-John, who plays Sandy, has previously dismissed sexism claims, said, "It's a movie and a fun story, and I've never taken it too seriously." There's your quote from Olivia Newton-John. So that's where we've come to. This is where we are on this Monday, February the 22nd, 2021. The Muppets, which came out in the 70s, are bad, they're offensive, sock puppets. And Grease, the lighthearted, classic, sing-along musical, is also offensive and should be indeed banned. That's the two, those are the two big stories for the day. I can't quite wrap my head around it. Again, one is a movie, one is a television show, again with sock puppets, musical, and then sock puppets. Yet it seems like people are really reaching these days, really reaching for reasons to be offended by things. And to call for outright ban. Got to ban Grease. You got to ban it. You got to take that off the air. You can't be running Grease. No. There's becoming a more clear defined line of those who are super easily offended by pretty much anything, even if it doesn't involve them directly. Like they will be offended for other people. Okay. And then there's the other people that like don't really care. Like, whatever. Don't care. And then the people who are extremely outspoken about it. Like, it feels like people should have better things to do with their time than to worry about the fact that Grease runs on broadcast television. I don't know. Maybe a handful of times a year. And again, the number of people that are watching broadcast television is probably shrinking by the second, mostly because they're taking their time and quality investment in great programming like this show right here. Or some others that are probably better. Whatever. Streaming services, on demand, Netflix, everything is boom. Want to watch it? I want to watch it now. So this movie is on. Again, this was on BBC One, so on Boxing Day. So I'm assuming it was not in the States. But people actually sat down and watched it just to be offended by it, right? Like, I'm not sure what woke individual is like, ooh, Grease is on. I've never seen this. Or be like, yeah, this is something I want to watch. No, they're just watching it just to be offended by it. Just to find a reason to have an outcry, and hashtag ban Grease gets trending on Twitter, and you're like, what? Like the lubricant? No, the movie. I don't understand. I somebody please help explain it to me. Why? And is banning things, does that seem like the smart thing to do? like ever in history, did they like ban books that people thought were offensive? Got to ban that. Can't have that. Why do you ban a book? You burn it. And you ban a movie. Wasn't Travolta just in a Super Bowl commercial? Didn't they just do something with yeah, he was redoing he wasn't redoing Grease though. He was redoing Pulp Fiction. Did the Pulp Fiction dance, I think, with his daughter or something. I don't know. It was whatever. I digress. But it's odd that we haven't learned that by banning things, and whether or not they are considered offensive, probably depends on like my buddy Joe down here says, people need to get some thicker skin. But is banning things, that's the culture though. This is the cancel culture. This is if it was bad 40 plus years ago, we got to get rid of it. We got to delete it from our repertoire, our memory banks. It never existed. Travolta should never start another movie. He was a part of it. He was pushing the misogynistic, sexist, and a bit rapey movie that is Grease. It's Baby It's Cold Outside all over again. When was Baby It's Cold Outside written? Long time ago. People are going, it's a little weird, a little creepy. But then radio stations, was it last 2 years ago, 3 years ago? That was the big hubbubaloo. We got a ban. Baby It's Cold Outside. Okay. And ban it. Take it off all the radio stations. Playing Christmas music. You're not playing that one, though. And the 40 covers of it by many different artists, including Bublé, including Michael Bublé, who everybody loves. Same thing. I don't like it. Delete it. Get rid of it. Never want to see it again. Never want to hear it again. Don't pay attention to it. Don't listen to the song. Don't watch the movie. Don't worry about it. You know? Trust me, there's not a lot of dudes that watch Grease that went, I want to behave like that. Yeah. Here's my secret to success. I'm going to sing and shit. Yeah. Some did. But not in like a real life scenario. You know? Go to high school. Most of you did, I'm sure. Outside of theater. Did you see a lot of choreographed dancing and singing in the hallways of your high school? No. Probably not. So it didn't quite push its agenda onto the culture. She just didn't see a whole lot of choreographed arts going on randomly in the hallways. Nor did you ever, I mean, I remember trying to remember like my senior day graduation day, like they had a fucking carnival, right? Like didn't they have a carnival at the end? That's where Sandy turns into like this, you know, the leather jacket, cigarette smoking badass. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, in show choir, yeah, in the arts, in theater, yeah, there was that, Matt. There was that, but not randomly in the hallways. Just sporadically busting into a choreographed dance out in the parking lot, smoking cigarettes. But they had a pretty wicked graduation party. Maybe that's why people should be offended. Like, they don't make graduations like that. Come out of the last hour of your senior year of high school and there's a fucking carnival with rides and ponies and stuff. Didn't happen. But we're banning that. Got to ban Grease. Got to ban the Muppet Show. Can't have it. It's offending people. It's hurting people's feelings. And people are actively searching out these things, right? Like, it wasn't the fact that somebody watched the Muppets that it got into the news. It was that Disney decided to put this disclaimer before any episode of the Muppets on their own platform and say, hey, this is offensive, but perhaps it can bring forth discussion and change from a show that was, again, came out in the late 70s into the early 80s. If you're actively searching out the Muppets, like, oh, I haven't seen this in forever. Like, I'm sure you just watch it with a, you know, like, oh, nostalgia. It brings you back maybe in time. Like, oh, this was a nice, I remember watching this show. It's a good time. It's fun. But the Grease thing, they aired it on BBC on Boxing Day and people lost their mind. And when people lose their mind, they decide to take to Twitter and try to get the movie banned. Maybe it's cold outside all over again. Oh, what else? There's got to be something going on. Here's some good news. Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favorite Halloween/Christmas movies. Now, granted, there aren't a lot of crossover Halloween Christmas movies, but this one definitely would be the fave. It's according to radio.com. The Nightmare Before Christmas, beloved holiday movie. Of course, the debate rages on. As it says here, and as I've talked about, is it a Halloween movie or is it a Christmas movie? I say you start watching it around Halloween and you can watch it again at Christmas, and it's both. It's amazing. Well, it sounds like a new holiday may soon be added to the mix, as a sequel to the classic film is currently in the works. The new version of A Nightmare Before Christmas will be told in an upcoming young adult novel and will continue the story after Sally and Jack Skellington's first kiss. The new book is written from the point of view of Sally and takes place shortly after the movie ends, and this yet-to-be-told love story of Sally and Jack. But it's also a coming-of-age story for Sally as we see her navigate through her new royal title as the Pumpkin Queen of Halloween Town, said Shea Earnshaw, who was hired to write the upcoming novel. Well, that's exciting. Jumping back to the Grease thing. Yeah. Don't like it, don't watch it. Simple. It is as simple as that. It really is. But I am excited for a continuation of Nightmare Before Christmas, even though it is in novel form. But, Tim Burton's still hanging around looking for stuff to do, right? Like he's still get on that, get the book, let it roll for a year, and we could have, Nightmare Before Christmas Part 2 by Christmas of 2023. I'm just saying if it all pans out, but you kind of got to do it in that old school, like how the original was done, that kind of claymation animation stuff, I think you have to do it that way. I think that's the only way that that story makes sense to continue. You can't like come out with the new CGI stuff because then it just looks totally weird. Like this is not my Nightmare Before Christmas movie. It's not mine. # banned. That's exciting though. That will that should make some people happy. Thank you all for jumping in and all the comments on all the socials. Knocked over my stand there. CW is back. Hi, Ascended. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for making us the interim between learning stuff. Daft Punk broke up. Daft Punk, legendary French duo, are no more. Monday morning, the group announced in a video entitled Epilogue that they were calling it quits. In the clip, the duo is seen walking around a desert with their trademark helmets and jackets on. One of them removes the jacket and reveals a pack on their back and counts down and explodes. The other walks away, and that's that. That's how you do it. That's how you break up the band. One dude blows up and the other one just walks away. No reason announced as to why they're splitting. Daft Punk's longtime publicist confirmed the news of their breakup to Spin Magazine. Pitchfork was the first to confirm the news. 1983. Daft Punk. Been around a while. It's my Daft Punk. They did a song with Pharrell Williams, right? A couple years back. That's maybe more than a couple years back. I want to date myself too much, but all right, we're going to take a short break, come back, and we got much more to talk about. Coca-Cola forcing their employees to complete training to be less white. So that's interesting. Also got an entire school board out in California resigning after comments are overheard on that hot mic about the parents of students who have been home during this whole pandemic, wanting them to go back to school. Yeah. It's getting dicey, but we'll take a break. Be right back in 5. And we're back on the live show. Thank you all for tuning in, wherever you are tuning in. Facebook Live, YouTube, search Cooperville, and subscribe. I think we're almost at 100. We had 96 when the show started. So thank you to all the subscribers there on YouTube and on the Twitch, twitch.tv/No Limit Cooper, or on the Twitch app, and then search No Limit Cooper and give a follow as we grow. And thank you to everybody who's followed, who follows also the Facebook page. Welcome to Cooperville, and follows the live show. What's up, Troy? How you doing, buddy? North Carolina. I bet it's not snowing there. maybe it is. I don't know. It's snowing in the rest of the country, but I don't think the Carolinas got it. I think they're part of that space. In the middle is like the cream of the Oreo, and everybody else has got like nice weather on each coast. So thanks, Troy. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for jumping up. Speaking of one of those areas, the Bay areas. This story comes from the Associated Press out in Oakley, California, as all members of a San Francisco Bay Area school board resigned days after they were heard making disparaging comments about parents in a virtual board meeting that didn't realize was being broadcast to the public. That's one of the downfalls of everything being virtual now. Virtual council meetings, virtual school board meetings, all this shit. All done virtual. Sometimes you're like, oh, yeah, we're just talking amongst each other. And you're like, oh, shit, we're actually being broadcast to the world. The 4 members of the Oakley Union Elementary School District Board had stepped down by Friday amid growing outrage that began when with the board's Wednesday meeting. Before the meeting officially began, unaware the public could see and hear them, they used profanity and made jokes about parents just wanting a babysitter or to smoke pot in their home. The incident garnered national attention after widespread condemnation. The school district superintendent announced the resignation in a letter Friday and said that the education board members will be replaced or will replace them in an interim capacity. So I'm assuming what happened. So they probably had like this show. This show starts at 5:00, but I don't go live until like 5:00. Otherwise, you'd see me in here like doing this and making sure you can read the hat and whatever, making sure everything works, making sure the audio works. But they must have just had like a link to the Zoom meeting that parents could jump in on. Like, hey, the meeting starts at 3:00. You jump on at 3 and you can hear what's going on as we discuss important matters with the school district. So some parents jump on at 2:50, because they're proactive. They want to know what's going on with the kids in school, especially out in California. Everything is still kind of closed down. And let our kids go back to school. We want to know. Be first into the Zoom meeting. Yeah, the school board members don't realize that there's parents watching them. And they start talking shit. Parents just want their babysitters back. They want to smoke pot in their house. They don't want their kids around, so they want to send them back to school. You gotta know, man. You gotta know when you're live. It's 2021. You know when the button's being pushed. You think that's what you think parents just want their babysitters back so they can smoke pot in their house. I mean, I get it's California. No offense to any Californians that are watching, but maybe they want their kids to go get a fucking education. Maybe, perhaps. Or they would like their kids to go to school so that they can go to work. Perhaps. A lot of people up in arms about teachers unions and school district boards and all this stuff, man. People are just, they're fiery. They're fiery about it. Which I get. The stats are out there. The numbers are there. Kids aren't, for the most part, susceptible to COVID. And for the most part, they're not really big transmitters of it. Schools have been proven scientifically to not be these super spreader places. Even Fauci at one point. Of course, Fauci's pretty good at going, and then come one day, and just changes his mind all the time. But he's the smartest doctor in the world, right? Kids should be in school. It's not rocket science. It's plain science. Pretty well documented they should be back in school. Not just because they're not, again, these super spreading environments, even with teachers. Social growth, learning, education, the whole thing. Should be in school. Kids should be in school. I don't think virtual learning should be a thing at all. And my kid is virtual. So understand my plot in life. But it was an option. It was like, oh, well, it's an option. I'm like, no, I'm not scared of COVID, Like, what is this science thing I speak of? I don't know. That's even the tough part about science. The job is to, exactly. It's how society functions. And especially if you have younger kids. They got teenagers running around like Matt. Those teens running around, they can take care of themselves. You got the youngsters that probably could be by themselves, but are rather untrustworthy. Would probably do something questionable. Smear peanut butter all over the dog just to watch them like, oh, this is super fun. Those kids should be in school so the parents can work. If they can work, it's how the machine works. It's how it functions. The kids go to school, parents can go to work, and kids are done with school, then you can hang out with them at night. It's how it should be. It's how it should be. There's a reason we have schools. Exactly. I'm all back in school. I know. Even yours, man. Both of yours. My class learning is going to use. Yeah. See, that's That's how it's taught, you know? Like, let's say, and this is an exaggeration of reality. So don't be like, that's bullshit. I don't like it. Let's say you had to have major surgery, even a minor surgery, like my cousin Matt, who's hanging out in the chat right now. Just had surgery, broke his leg, had to have surgery on his leg. It's a cast. Would you like to have the knowledge that the person performing that surgery got their education virtually? I get it. It's not like, well, they wouldn't let doctors do that. They're letting future doctors do that. They're letting future scientists, doctors, lawyers, politicians, the future, they're all learning online. Not all of them, obviously. I know there's some schools that are back in. Some are doing full time. You get up north around here, man. It's like a whole different. It's a whole different. Everybody's in school. People are working. Fucking wheels turning. But you wouldn't want to have your doctor or your lawyer. Say you needed a lawyer for something important. Where'd you get your degree? I studied online. Did you? Did you? I'm going to go with another option. I think I want somebody who was in school, learning by the books. The old smell, remember the smell of books? I know there's probably not many books in, like, especially college now. It's probably all, done on a tablet or done on a laptop or done on a computer. But yeah, I mean, I've heard that argument. I mean, trust me, I think teachers are underpaid. I do. I think they're underpaid. I think they're underappreciated. I think you don't have enough because of those things. I don't think you have enough really smart, good people who really should be teachers going into that field, because they're like, oh, the pay sucks and the conditions suck. And a lot of them have to buy their own, like if they want to do something special, like really enhance learning. Like they have to buy that shit on their own. They're not getting paid enough to do that. Like, I get it. They should be paid more. This is not an argument there. Jason Williams knows school is cool. Stay in school. School is cool. But they're missing out too. I mean, damn. Interaction with other human beings, social interactions. How do you behave in a group environment? How do you behave in a, when you're put in a precarious situation like this? Where you learn that? Learn that at home with your folks? No. Learn that shit in school. Get them back to school. But apparently in Oakley, California, the school board believes that the parents just want to have their babysitters back to open the schools back up because they want to have the babysitters back and go smoke pot. Again, it's California. I don't. Maybe it's not. Perhaps they want their kids to get back into the educational system so they can learn, so they can grow up and do great things in the world. And perhaps so they don't have to either pay for childcare, which probably is exorbitant. And then you go to work and you're like, well, I worked, but then it cost me, 3/4 of what I made today had to go for childcare. I don't know, man. Shit's getting weird out there. In some places it feels like, well, it's opening back up. You're seeing the numbers come down too. I mean, you're seeing the overall numbers come down. Nobody wants to really talk about that a whole lot. And kind of keep the news, kind of keep the news going. Amen, Joe. Kids need structure. Ridiculous. But the numbers are coming down, like at a pretty hefty clip. But shit's not opening up fast enough, man. It's not flowing. Well, the vaccine, the numbers are coming down and there's not many. I mean, the percentage of the population that's been vaccinated is very small. There's a lot, but it's very small. Yeah. Biggest thing kids are missing out on is learning social skills by interacting with other kids. Yeah. I mean, those bonds that you have, in high school, in elementary school, into high school, you know. Now I get a lot of those don't really resonate past that, especially in this day and age. Kids go off to college and they'll go the same, but they have some relationships that they'll maintain perhaps for life. It also teaches them exactly how to interact with people when you get into, say, college, or if you don't go to college, into your work environment. Like, I don't understand how to I'm gonna, but you'll have a whole like freshman class, for the next couple of years. That like, well, yeah, I had that whole like year off of school. I learned it from home. Now I have to be in class and I don't really understand. It'll be interesting. It's just funny though. I watch when you send that Zoom link out, people start paying attention. I just want to smoke pot. Uh, Interesting. I love conspiracy theories because I think in all of them there is some truth. There's some truth in them, and I'm not going to say either way because I don't know for sure. I just like to read funny shit, and sometimes things are crazy, and sometimes it's like, wow, that was crazy. Then you find out like 6 months later, like, oh, that was real. Oh, okay, right. Uh, Talking about the snow in Texas. Now it's, what do they say? A once in every 120-year snowfall. When you have that kind of length between major weather events like that, you're likely not going to be prepared. And Texas obviously wasn't prepared. You know, power grid was down in a lot of places. I mean, no heat, no hot water. It was not a great situation. Snowpocalypse, they called it. I believe in Wisconsin we call that Tuesday. But again, we're prepared for it. We got that thick blood. Got that Wisconsin blood, yum. 4.3 million homes without electricity at one point. No heating, no secure drinking water at the peak of the crisis. 58 people died. And obviously there was the whole like Ted Cruz thing. Like I was pissed off at Ted Cruz for going on a vacation. Which it kind of came out like his kids went on vacation. He and their younger kids, and he's kind of went to like, okay, hey, we want to make sure you get here. Make sure you're safe. I'm going to come back. And regardless, like, I'm not sure what, like, you're in the middle of a fucking snowstorm. Like, what is Ted Cruz going to do? Oh, he shouldn't have left. Well, if he would have stayed, what was he going to do? Is he also an electrician? Can he also get the power grid back up? The work is done after the fact. Just saying. One strange response to the disaster was the spread of a viral conspiracy theory, videos on TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter claiming the severe snow was actually fake and government generated as part of a sinister plot initiated by shadowy elites, presumably intentionally plunging Texas into its present state of crisis. Here's one quote. Quote, this goes out to our government and Bill Gates. Thank you, Bill Gates, for trying to fucking trick us that the snow is real. A woman says in one video as she holds a cigarette lighter to a snowball over her bathroom basin. You'll see it's not melting and it's going to burn. Snow doesn't burn. Snow fucking melts. This is what she said. This is now, I'm just repeating what she said. So don't get all mad at me. Show is not for children. No water, no dripping, no nothing. If I put this shit in the microwave, it's going to start sparkling because there's metal mixed in it. In another clip, a girl gathers a snowball from her lawn and holds it over a tea light candle, observing the same phenomenon, that it doesn't appear to melt, but charred black by the flame. A number of other videos have cropped up on the same platforms with titles like "Need Some Explaining" and anyone else played with the government generated snow yet? Interesting. Same doubts have actually arisen before when some snow unexpectedly blanketed Atlanta, Georgia back in 2014, prompting science writer Phil Plait of The Slate to debunk them. As the snow melts, the remaining snow absorbs into water, and that's why it doesn't appear to drip. The snowball becomes a slush ball, he explained, alluding the process of sublimation by which moisture lost from snow disappears as vapor, gas, and not through dripping water liquid. So, people are picking up the snow in Texas, making snowballs, holding it over flame, and instead of it melting, it is turning black. I'm not saying, but having some experience with snow, having actually lit fires on top of snow, it usually melts. Doesn't normally turn black, doesn't normally char. It normally melts. We had the sun come out today, and it was 40 degrees, like I said, after some snowfall yesterday. Saw lots of water. Lots of water coming down from rooftops, out of the eaves and out of the gutters and stuff, because the heat and the sun makes the snow melt, turn into water. I'm not saying, but why not? So the government controls the weather. I mean, you know, they control anything else the weather too. But if that is the case, I would like to put in some requests. I would like an above average temperature summer. You know, even like 2 or 3 degrees, you know, here in Wisconsin. Send the snow or send the cooler temp somewhere else. Maybe like Illinois. I don't know. Somewhere. What else we got going on here in the news? Colt is no longer a thing. Colt 45. Gunmaker Colt ends 175 years as an American gunmaker. Thank you, ad. Stupid pop-up ads. It was purchased by a Czech firearms company. 175-year run as American company, helping to establish a small arms powerhouse. Also marks a new chapter for Colt, a one-time financially troubled company that, with new Czech ownership, is now expected to generate $500 million in revenue. They should have just held on, man. I'm sure this deal was in the works for a while. You know? It didn't happen like overnight. Gun sales. Through the roof. Through the roof. What else do they say? Iconic brand. Iconic brand, a benchmark for the military, law enforcement, and commercial markets globally, fits perfectly into our strategy to become the leader in firearms manufacturing and a key partner for the armed forces. Proud to include the Colt, which has stood shoulder to shoulder with the U.S. Army for over 175 years. Yeah. So an American original, Colt Firearm Company, now owned by a Czech company. How we were keeping jobs in America. How we were doing that whole thing. I don't know. It's crazy. So we were talking a little bit about COVID earlier, talking about the schools and stuff like that. This comes from Madison, great state capital, the state of Wisconsin. Well, it is the state capital. I'm not sure about great, but it's a fun city. I lived there for a while. Public health officials in Dane County, which is where Madison resides, have issued almost $200,000 in fines to businesses and individuals for violating Dane County's public health orders since last summer. A records request filed with Public Health Madison and Dane County shows Businesses are on the hook for more than $50,000 of that. Individuals charged with violations for group gatherings face another $137,000 in maximum fines before court fees. Over $200,000. 40 people are facing violations of the large gathering part of the order in court, with gatherings ranging from a few to more than 100 people, according to records. At least 90% of them are college students. College students on the hook for a good portion of that $137,000. Large gathering complaints typically start with noise complaints or calls to 911 dispatch, and public health will at times accompany police to the door where officials count how many people have gathered and cite the hosts accordingly. We want individuals to comply with the order, but when they don't, we feel the need to either issue citations or bring them into court, according to a public health official. Man, imagine you're in your dorm room at the Dub. Go Badgers. You have a little party. Maybe you got 2 or 3 people over there. Maybe a little more. You know, you're all in the same dorm, right? Maybe you're not. Maybe it's a house party. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. $137,000 in fines, mainly issued to college students in Madison for violating public gathering ordinances. I mean, you've kind of taken away everything, right? I mean, pretty much everything. A lot of things went away. Some in Wisconsin, some things have come back, so I guess I shouldn't say everything. You've taken away everything. College kids at one of, and sometimes the biggest, party school in the country. They're in college. They're already being, probably doing a lot of virtual learning, some in class, I'm sure some virtual. This is over the fall, so you probably had more virtual stuff going on at that point, or even canceled classes. Football team went to the Mayo Bowl. Not really excited about that. You have a party. Get together with your friends on college campus. Somebody calls the cops. They show up. You have a fine for having too many people here. Too many people in your party. I don't like it. When does it end? We watched Songbird last night. Songbird, the movie. Is it James Gunn? No, it's not James Gunn. I can't remember who was the director. Michael Bay? I think it was Michael Bay. Michael Bay film. Watched it on the Amazon Prime last night. And if you don't know the backstory of the movie Songbird, it's gotten crushed by reviews by the media because it's about COVID-23 variants, and this is a little bit into the future, and it's these Q camps where they if you have a fever, they just put you in here and then nobody ever really comes out. But then there's people that are immune and they can kind of roam about. They do all the package delivering, but it was I don't know, the love story part of it was a little much, but not a little much. I shouldn't say it was a little much. It was just I was really into the beginning when they're talking about all the shit, and they got these couriers come through, and if you get a package from, not from Amazon but whoever, if there's this little compartment that you put it in, and it UV cleans it, and it's just wild. Nobody can go outside. It's just crazy. You have an app on your phone that you have to scan yourself every single day, and if you don't, then they call it the Department of Sanitation shows up, and if you have a fever, they take you to these Q camp things, which it's very, very wild. Obviously, that's, I don't know, No, but I don't know if anybody knows at this point. That would never happen here. Same people who were saying it would never happen that we would be locked down or businesses would be closed down or be forced to wear masks. Like, no, it would never happen here. I don't know. But you see things like that, like we're finding college kids. Maybe we're going to relieve all their student debt so they can afford to pay their fines for having parties in college. And they're not going to see grandma, so don't give me that shit. And I'm not going to go, what if they go see grandma? They're not going to see grandma. They're not. They're hoping to hook up. Let's be honest. And if you think they're not hooking up because of COVID, I'll have some of what you're having because you're high. You are high. Nicole says, yeah, we're heading that direction. I think so. Crazy. I don't think anything is out of them a possibility. How's that? I think even with the numbers dropping and stuff, okay, numbers are dropping. And you hear there's always another scary story though, right? There's always another scary story comes out. New variant found in Eau Claire County. A new variant. This is the variant from South America. This is the variant for South Africa. How did it get here? The person who got it never traveled. Questions. Got some questions. But, I think there's people who are following along with all of the things, the narrative, following along, doing the right things. Being strict, not traveling, wearing their mask. There's other people who are like, no, I'm done with this shit. Done with it. No more. I think that's the kind of people you want to be on their side. You know what I'm saying? I think you do. I think that's smart. Yep. We are in a month 11 of a 2-week stay-at-home order. Then a month, then masks, then vaccines. It's always something. And perhaps it will always be something. Now there's maybe things. I mean, as a Fauci or some, maybe things will be back to semi-normal. It's some sort of normal, but the new normal, maybe by Thanksgiving, maybe later. I don't know. Seemingly pretty healthy. A lot of things that don't get talked about, still not being talked about. People's health and taking their supplements and all the things you need to keep your immune system healthy. Like, no, it's still not really being talked about a whole lot. Shut up and get your vaccine. Gonna be fine. Oh, by the way, when you get your vaccine, you also still have to wear your mask and social distance, and you can't go hug grandma. It's funny. That feels like the same rules as people that don't get one. It's odd. Seems odd. What doesn't actually protect you against getting it or giving it to others? Well, that kind of sounds like both things. I don't know. I don't know, but if you haven't seen it yet, wash your damn. That was the thing, right? Wash your hands and wash your butt. Like what? Should we be doing these things already? Oh yeah, we should be doing these things already. Should have been. Well, what can you do? Yeah, Songbird. I recommend it. People. It's weird to see people get all like up in arms about it. And Nicole, I'm glad you made me watch it. But people get like I remember when the preview came out, when the trailer came out, I shared it, and I was with like the wide eye, like the wow emoji, like what? It's crazy. People get all like, never. That would never happen in the United States of America. Take a look around you. Take a look. That would never happen. Never, ever, ever. That's bullshit. Shouldn't post that kind of bullshit on your social media page. I'm going to give you an angry emoji. Okay. It's the only way I could hear you because I can't hear you when you got your mask on. It doesn't make any sense. You get it. People are so touchy. You know? Don't post shit about COVID. Don't ask any questions. My science is better than your science. Okay. Well, if that's how you feel. Science is absolute. I absolutely have different science over here. Science. Science all over the board. Vaccine passports. Ooh, that'll be fun. I hope I get a new picture, though. Last time I had a passport, I had like a shaved head. Just kind of creepy looking. It's a little like if I if I was the person at the TSA that was like, I'd be like, we should talk. You look like you've I got tattoos, and I'm like, we should probably have a chat with that fella. We should probably give that guy a thorough exam. Give him an anal swab. What? No, I do not. I do not approve of the swab. Here's another thing people are pissed off about. I'm ready to bring it today. Oh, people are pissed at Jared Leto. And not because of his performance in the original Suicide Squad, which I thought was great, but apparently enough people hated it that they made him change completely for the new Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. Okay. So the image came out like last week. We were talking about the first images released of Jared Leto as the Joker, and kind of a new, very dark Joker. I mean, I think it's super badass, but I like the other one too. Well, a new photo has been pushed out to the masses of Jared Leto in his new Joker look, doing a Jesus Christ pose. This is from Screen Rant. It's a new image from Zack Snyder's Justice League. So this image came out. It's set for release on HBO Max on March 18th of this year. Snyder's Justice League promises to be very different than the theatrical version of the film. Big reason for that is the inclusion of Leto's Joker character. Of course, he was roundly criticized for his take on Joker in David Ayer's Suicide Squad, but nevertheless, Snyder elected to bring Leto back and include him in his vision of Justice League. Thanks to Vanity Fair's new profile of Snyder, fans have been given another look at Leto's Justice League Joker, and there's a definite biblical quality to the latest image, which can be seen in the space below. You can look it up on screenrant.com, this website. So basically what you have is Jared Leto in what looks like to be kind of a white, it's kind of a mix between like a white robe, I'll say white robe. Looks like he's almost got like a mask around his neck. Weird, right? But he's doing kind of this thing and looking up gazingly. And it does appear that he has a crown of thorns around his head. Now, I was not outraged by that particular image. I was like, he's the Joker. He's not he's playing a villain. I'm going to try to bring up Screen Rant, that post on Screen Rant, so just the story. Because, were the people pissed? Oh, let me see. I got to find these comments. Where? Geez, they post a lot of stuff. Where? Show me Leto. Show me Leto is doing his Jesus post. Let me tear. There we go. Oh. Sacrilegious. I'm not going to watch the movie. I'm convinced Jared Leto is becoming Nicolas Cage and can't deny a role. Jared Leto's trying too hard to get fans to like him. So much symbolism. People stop maturing intellectually in their teens are going to love it. Oh, yeah. Regardless, and I'm just reading some of the comments. I won't read their names because, I don't want to put them on blast. Regardless if it's a comic or not, religiousness should just stay out of it. It's a sin to mimic or make fun or betray Jesus. That's all. I love comics, but DC really should have this. This really shouldn't be having this. I believe she meant to say. She said should be having this. It looks bad on them. Not sure how this is breaking news, other than that maybe breaking some Christian hearts out there. Yeah. There was just a ton. I've got a person saying Jesus is coming. Are you ready? Yeah. Just who cares? Like, why do you care? Just it's an actor doing some acting for a movie. Why we gotta be? Why all the hate? Why all the behind the screen hate? Just it's my favorite thing. This is my favorite face to make. Just mad. I'm gonna tell Jared Leto what I think of him. It's crown of thorns. Let's let it go. Like, scroll past it. Let it be. People have sometimes lost the ability to do that. Just if you're going to spend time on social media and you're going to find things that you don't like or you don't agree with, you don't need to stop. You can just let it go. Like, if you just scroll past it and you find like kitten films, or maybe that lawyer that had the cat face on Zoom, and you go, and then you forget all about the thing that made you pissed off 3 seconds ago. It's amazing. You don't carry that hate and vitriol with you all day long. Like, did you see that Jared Leto character posing like Jesus? It's not cool. Not cool, bro. You can just let it go. Like, that's cool too. Yeah. But I mean, I know there was some great comments on there, but there's like a couple thousand on there now, and there, so you kind of get lost in the back and forth and the rhetoric and all the other crap. So you just kind of let it go. You just kind of gotta let it go. But do want to say thanks to everybody who chimed in on the chat today. Appreciate it. Lots of interesting topics to cover. Again, no guests scheduled for today. Tomorrow, looking like George Dukas can join us for an elongated conversation. We kind of had to cut it short last time he was on, but we'll definitely have much more to talk about. Get into some football talk and more things like that. The big news today was we did launch our Patreon page, which we will share in the chats of all of the different platforms that we were streaming on. So wherever you're watching, if you're on Facebook, or if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, jump on and join the Patreon revolution. We're doing a bunch of cool stuff on there, exclusive stuff. Like I said, we're going to be moving all of the audio from not just from the show, but from my previous podcasts. I've done 70 some odd podcasts with a multitude of people, musicians and doctors and entrepreneurs and random folks. So a bunch of them on there. Those are all going to move to Patreon. So you'll only way you'll be able to access those and listen to those is going to be through that platform. So jump on, hit up the Patreon, pick a tier. There's 3 different tiers, monthly subscription. We're doing a bunch of cool stuff, posting behind the scenes things from the show, and exclusives to, like, we know what guests are coming up and when. We'll give you exact times and things like that, so you can plan your life accordingly. But that is again posted in all of the chats. We just put it back up there for Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Join the Patreon at whatever level you feel. You can always upgrade at any time, and we'll keep on feeding exclusive content on there. And we're going to do some exclusive live streams just on the Patreon site. So if you're a member, you'll be able to check that out. We're also looking at doing some more stuff on Twitch too. So we'll do some exclusive Twitch stuff, wrap ups after the show, and things like that. Maybe some exclusive guests that strictly go to Twitch. And CW had a great idea on there too, is to check out some other YouTubers, other streamers, bring their videos in and watch them while we're doing the show. So we got some great ideas coming up, and it was just we had to make an adjustment. We had to adjust the times a little bit. but we'll still be at it. We'll still be having guests. We'll still be having conversations, and we'll still be doing all the things here on Cooperville Live. So I appreciate you sticking through and being here. And again, 5 p.m. Central, and we're kind of going to run until whenever. We're not going to really have a set window. And today was an hour and a half. Tomorrow we'll have George Dukas on. That probably will be a bit longer. And we'll kind of let it rip, man. We're going to let it rip. Yeah, I'm gonna work on that, C-Dubs. I'm gonna work on that and see what we can make happen here on this platform. I know it's a little challenging. My internet's already like, what are you doing? This is too much. This is too much, but we'll press on. We'll figure out a way to get that done. Join the Patreon, and we'll be back tomorrow. Again, George Dukas is going to be on the show. See if we can get some outbeats to go get us out of the show here. We'll bring these back up from my boys. Do a little bit of that. A little bit of that. Too many times press play. There we go. Thank you all for tuning in to Cooperville Live today. Wherever you are tuning in, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. I'd say we're all in this together. Just take care of one another, and I think we'll be fine. We'll be back again tomorrow, 5 o'clock, right here on all of the streams. Make sure whatever you're watching on, make sure you throw a follow, throw a subscription, and join the Patreon. The link is in the comments of wherever you are watching. So I appreciate you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another.